people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and welcome to my next episode of the Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. It is awesome to have all of you here tonight, especially after this long, too. Sorry about that. But this was the most intense episode of The Rising Dead so far. So much stuff happened. We see tension stirring up between the survivors at the Junkyard. We finally get a glimpse at Milwaukee after the zombie apocalypse started. Joe meets a cannibal chef who wants to slice him up and cook him. And we get introduced to a brand new character, Danny. So, let's discuss what went on in this episode. So, we saw that there was more tension between the survivors at the Junkyard and between Joe, Russell, and Brenda and the survivors at the Junkyard. Captain Leo really wants to have them there. He wants to include them. He's trying his best to get them all working together and trying to get them all to team up. But Kurt and Bradley, they don't want Joe, Brenda, or Russell there. They don't trust them at all. They think they're a waste of space. And they're being really prejudiced against them, unfortunately. Also, they go into the supply run to Milwaukee. We see them go into Milwaukee. Now, there's this. When they were driving, the scene where Joe, Captain Leo, Sally, and the rest, the scene where they were driving along the interstate down I-94 into Milwaukee, I tried my best to make it look like this when, in episode 1 of The Walking Dead, when Rick Grimes was riding the horse into Atlanta, and you can see the buildings and the skyscrapers down the freeway. I tried my best to make the camera view and the whole scenery, I tried my best to make it resemble that as much as possible, except instead of Atlanta, it's Milwaukee. Hope that made sense. But once they arrive in Milwaukee, Joe finds out that the zombies are not the only thing to be afraid of. There's a lot of psychopaths on the loose. Chef Antonio, he basically just snapped after he saw all the people die and when the zombies started coming. Then his weird mind formed this whole thought that zombies are rotten meat and humans are fresh meat. So then, during the whole zombie apocalypse, he kidnaps Danny. He's gonna cook him up, but luckily Joe comes there and Joe rescues him. And that was an intense standoff between Joe and Chef Antonio at that Mexican restaurant. But then, even though Joe wins and even though Joe takes out Chef Antonio, Joe still feels a little creeped out. Especially when he sees all the zombies eating Chef Antonio, because even though Chef Antonio was trying to kill Joe, Joe still feels shocked that he had to kill Chef Antonio. And the true intense reality is starting to break to him. And luckily he's handling it pretty well, not gonna lie. But then, things still aren't safe for Joe at all, because Kurt just had to go sneak into Joe's room and empty his gun and steal all his bullets and threaten Danny. Yeah. See major problems coming up for Joe. Let me know what you think will happen in the next episode. Please type that in the comments. So right now, I'm going to be answering some questions you guys asked on the last episode of The Rising Talking Dead, Joe Winko. Going to be answering them now. So, ID Leon from YouTube asked, will there be an episode about how Brenda found Joe and Russell? Good question. I never really given it much thought of how Brenda discovered Joe and Russell. She was out on the woods by herself for a really long time. She just came across them and she saw them and knew that they were alive, and she was scared to go approach them at first, but once they were getting swarmed by the zombies, she saved them and she knew that they needed her help. so there won't be an episode all about it. But I will say this, you might see a flashback scene of what happened to Brenda, like how she became on her own, where she was when the zombie apocalypse first started. I've been thinking about that. Haven't decided it yet, but I've been thinking about it nonetheless. Brian Grau from YouTube asked, who is your favorite character besides Joe and why? Good question. Who's my favorite character on The Rising Dead? I have to say, well, besides myself, I'd have to say Russell, because he's the first friendly person I met during the zombie apocalypse. I really like Brenda too, and I also like Captain Leo because he wanted to save us and he wanted to help us and make us part of his team and everything, even though it's not going so well. Still appreciate it anyway. At least he's trying. And now, Roblox Jakes from YouTube asked, what will happen to the Junkyard? As in, how long are they going to stay at the Junkyard, and will they leave the Junkyard, and why will they leave the Junkyard? How long is it going to be safe for them? Be patient and wait for it. You will find out what's going to happen to the Junkyard and what's going to become of it. That's all I'm going to say about that. So yeah, if you have any more questions about The Rising Dead, please comment on this video and I'll answer all of them in the next episode. Also, here's a sneak peek on the next episode of The Rising Dead. Check it out. Here they come. Watch what I do. Okay, you guys saw that. If you remember exactly, if you were paying attention to the last couple of minutes in this most recent episode of The Rising Dead, the one I'm talking about right now, not the new one, not the newer one that's coming out in the future, but the one I just posted. If you were paying attention to the last couple of minutes, you kind of know that there's something that Joe does not know about his gun, and now he has those zombies coming for him. What do you think's gonna happen there? Please comment and share your thoughts on that, what you think will happen in the next episode of The Rising Dead. Also, if you have any questions about the next episode, or if you have any questions about The Rising Dead, please type those in the comments and I will make sure to answer them on the next episode of The Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. By the way, just want to let you all know, sorry this took so long to film. It's just that this whole show is a lot of work. It's fun to do, but it's a lot of work. There's so much stuff I have to do. It's literally a one-man show, too, because I'm filming The Rising Talking Dead, and The Rising Dead. Can't get The Rising Dead posted till I'm done filming The Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. And also, I have to do all my video editing on my desktop. Most of it, not exactly all of it, on my desktop computer. I don't really like sitting up in my room that much on the computer, that much, to be honest with you. But that goes into my next topic that I wanted to bring up. So as I just said, I don't like sitting up in my room on my desktop computer too much. I'm saving up for a gaming laptop, so I could just do my video editing on my laptop, and I don't have to stay in my room the whole entire time while I'm doing it. I do have a laptop right now, but it's a really cheap used one I got from Craigslist. It's still, my Sims 2 games work on it still, and I'm still able to film on it, but it's not very fun to use because it's really slow, and plus the video editing on it is really bad. So that's why I want to get a new one. So I'm holding a fundraiser on GoFundMe. I'll have the link in the description so anyone can donate. Every little bit helps. And to each person who donates, like, it'll tell me like a name if you leave a name. for the donation, or you can be anonymous, it doesn't matter. You can say, oh hey, I donated this and I donated that to your GoFundMe, and then I will give you a thank you on my next episode of The Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko, on the next episodes of The Rising Talking Dead Joe Winko. Once I earn enough money for my laptop, I'll then list your name, whatever you want to be credited as, in the end credits of all my new videos that I make the laptop, in the end credits of all the new videos that I make with the laptop. A special thanks to whoever for donating money for my laptop for making this video possible. I seriously will do that. Permanently, for eternity, for as long as you want, really. So yeah, please donate. Do not forget to do that. The link is in the description. But now, let's take some time to say goodbye to all those we lost this episode. Starting now. Brought to you by Carmex.
Bring your lips to life with the soothing moisture of Carmex Lip Balm.
So you don't end up looking like a zombie from the Rising Dead.